Good morning. Alright, not the most flattering view, I know, but it's what I have to work with for today. So, have a busy schedule, and I wanted to make sure that I could get this recorded, so I went ahead and decided to do a On My Way to Work podcast, and hopefully it comes out halfway decent. So, first of all, I'm going to apologize in advance for any road noise. Secondly, I hope we can have a good time and put something out that is enjoyable. So, it's been busy, but it's been good. And, getting to this time of year, we're getting ready to be trying to get out in the woods as much as possible. So, that's part of the reason why we're doing that this morning is scouting is starting to happen. I mean, we're there. Obviously, some people have already been in the woods scouting. And I, in the past, have not been able to get into the woods to scout. So getting that kind of opportunity is exciting, and I've really been enjoying it. So hopefully we can make it to the woods this evening. But we also have some other endeavors that we are starting to do, and that is I am starting to teach on OutSchool, which all weekend, because this is a brand new thing, I've got one class up there. There is a coupon code in the comments for the first class for anybody that has a kid between like 11 and 18 that wants to have them take the class. They're more than welcome to do so. Coupon in the bottom there for my class, so they can take it. That being said, it adds more to the schedule, but it's good. So we're going to be recording several classes for that here within the next couple of weeks. So that'll be fun. That'll be good, but time consuming. But that'll be good. I'm stuck in a loop, and it's because it's 3 a.m. So, new music-wise, there was quite a bit that had come out that was really, really good. 2 albums in particularly caught my attention this week, and that was Morgan Wade's new album. I believe it's The Party Is Over. It's either The Party Is Over or East Coast, because I know it's titled after one of the singles, and so that I thought was absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed every second of it. I'm a big Morgan Wade fan, though. I really like her stuff a lot. She's probably my favorite current female country artist, and so that was really good. Just top to bottom, fantastic. Hardwood Floor is a tearjerker. It's very relatable, and at least from like my family's experience with things. And so like as soon as I heard it, I sent a message to my wife. I was like, you have to listen to this song. Like, the song is for you. And it was a very emotional thing. So Hardwood Floor, I texted, like somewhat jokingly with my wife, texted her and said, that's it, nobody else like needs to even bother trying to get country song of the year, because Morgan Wade just did it. And there's some truth to that, though, because it was just such a good song. It was just thoroughly enjoyable, top to bottom. One of the things that I just can't speak highly enough on, to take that kind of experience and turn it into a song, and one that is so detailed and so emotional. Props to Morgan Wade. And then just, the rest of the album you could say is like, oh, it's run-of-the-mill Morgan Wade, blah, 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 but you could say that about I'm the Problem with Morgan Wallen. It's run-of-the-mill Morgan Wallen. It's sad country songs. It's what he's good at. It's the same thing with her. But, again, a really, really good album, well put together, well produced, all the things. The other one that really caught my attention was Fit for a King's new album. I had never listened to Fit for a King before Friday. to my knowledge, anyway. But the album was really good top to bottom. Some great metalcore. Had some really cool features on there, including Chris Motionless, which really like kind of threw me for a loop, because like Fit for a King's whole thing is that they're a Christian band, and with what Chris has said in the past about being his feelings on Christianity in general, I guess is the best way to put it. So to have him on there, I thought was interesting. I thought it was cool that there was some common ground that they found or whatever. I don't know what their relationship's like between the two bands or anything like that, so to sit there and try to speak on that, I can't. But I thought it was really cool, because I am a fan of some Emotionless in White's stuff, and I'm now a Fit for a King fan, because that album was just so good. And I had like 3 songs I think that really stuck out to me, which was Witness the End with Chris Motionless, obviously, but then Shelter I thought was really good, and then Monolith I thought was really good. But the whole thing from top to bottom was definitely fantastic. So let's see, I mentioned Shelter. I'm trying to think of all the different names. There was one, Techno Idiom or something like that was done with, I want to say that was the one that was done with the guy from The Plot in You, which was really good. It's one of those albums you just, again, can't say enough good about. Like, well produced. Every one of those guys in the band showed up, did what they were supposed to do, and made a really great piece of art. So yeah, it was fantastic. Those 2 albums really took up a lot of my focus on Friday with the new music releases, but I mean, for obvious reasons. They were both super good. So that had me excited that we had that, 2 albums that really had me pumped like that. And we've got a bunch of really good new music coming up that's going to do the same thing. We've got a new Charlie Crockett album coming out this week. We've got new Lorna Shore coming out soon, which some of the songs on that album will be explicit, which is kind of more than kind of a bummer. It is a bummer, because I don't like the whole explicit thing, but man, like that band right there is an absolute unit themselves. If you have not listened to Unbreakable yet, why? Because Unbreakable is an absolutely amazing song. Definitely one of my favorites, and definitely a contender for Metal Song of the Year. It's just, again, well put together. All the dudes showed up and did what they were supposed to do, and did it in their style. And they're getting ready to go on tour. Morgan Wade's getting ready to come through St. Louis. She is doing some stuff with Shinedown. And so, if you can, get out to a concert, get out to a show, because there's some really good ones more than likely coming through your area, because there's some really good ones getting ready to kick off this fall. Whitechapel. I hadn't been looking for Fit for a King tour dates, but more than likely, since they put out an album, they are going out to tour to support the album. So I will try to do like a reel or a short on that later, time permitting. There's a lot of things I want to do, time permitting, like, because the whole, like, I've really been wanting to grow this podcast through shorts and reels and all the different things, and I haven't been able to, because of like creator's block and time and all the things. But at least I've been able to continue podcasting consistently, so that makes me happy, because getting to do these things is fun. It's enjoyable. Yeah. And if you're sitting here listening to me go through all this stuff, I really appreciate it, because I enjoy doing this with you. I don't want to say for you. That almost seems like too egotistical for me. That being said, I feel like I've covered like what I can musically this week, but I do have some I want to unload racing wise. So let's switch gears to throwing dirt, shall we? So I don't know the results, but I've seen a couple of clips of video from it. But the cookout end of summer bash, or whatever they call it nowadays, it used to be the Circle K back to school bash for the monster truck show that they do at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And it used to have an over-under jump. I don't know if they had an over-under jump this year, but it was like one of the premier summer events for monster trucks for Independence. And it's been a ton of fun to watch the videos over the years. I actually got to be there for one in person. Definitely want to go back. It's just so much fun. It really is. It's such a good event. And I don't know the results. I know Team Throttle Monsters Jurassic Attack was driven by Tim Hall Jr., no relation to Tim Hall from Hall Brothers, but he did an amazing backflip at that show in Jurassic Attack, and it was super cool to see. It was just awesome. And I saw where Bad Company got like stuck on a jump or something, and yeah, so wish I had the results to talk about on here. I do not. Definitely looked like a good event, just like last year's was, where they wadded 2 trucks up during the racing finals, which was super cool, but obviously made things tough for freestyle, because if you tear 2 trucks up before you get to freestyle, now all of a sudden, instead of, say, you got 10 trucks, now you got 8. But it's a phrase that's been around for forever. That's racing. So rally car, though, Rally Finland. Finland is considered the spiritual home ground or whatever for rally car racing, and for good reason. It's really fast roads. There's jumps. It's gravel. It's all the things that you think of when you think of rally car racing. And I gotta say, it lived up to the hype. They set a new record for average speeds, which was 129.9 kilometers an hour, which is insanely fast. And you can argue that we're going to lose that whenever we go to the budget for 2027. I don't know how much of that we'll lose, in all honesty, because I think they will try to keep some of that there. But at the same time, I think the competition will make up for it. Although the competition this year is really heating up, because they are really close in points right now. Honestly, like between the top, 5, it's anybody's race, in my opinion, because sitting in first again, you have Elvin Evans, which we'll get to how all this transpired here in just a minute. You have Kalle Rovanperä. Then you have Seb Ogier, who has committed to the points chase this year, which means, if I'm not mistaken, he will be at the last 5 events. So Paraguay, Chile, Central Europe. I was trying to remember what was next. I didn't think it was Japan after Chile. I was like, there's one more. So Paraguay, Chile, however you say it, and then Central Europe, then Japan, and Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be a really interesting race, and I honestly felt like he was going to, because he's had such good results at the beginning of the season, to where he would be like, why not? Let's go for number 9. I don't know if he'll go for number 10, but at least this way he will tie Seb Loeb if he gets it, which would be obviously history making and whatnot. But he's not going to get it easily, because Kalle has finally found his speed. Kalle, was just on another level all weekend in Rally Finland. Did he win every single stage? No. Sami Pajari got a couple of wins. Takamoto got a couple of wins. I think good grief, all of a sudden I'm having all kinds of indigestion issues. I think Thierry Neuville won a couple of stages. So it was a really good rally, like top to bottom. And those that performed well did, and those that didn't, had huge offs and stuff. Unfortunately, Adrian Fourmeau got a puncture, and so like that knocked him out of the top 3 because he was a huge contender. And that's going to be the thing is, once Adrian Fourmeau finds his pace, speed, style, whatever, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I fully believe that. And we found out this week the schedule for next year. We found out Hyundai was committed to a 2026 season. There was so much that came out of this week, and it was such a good week for rally because of all that. And what place to do it? If they, considering Finland is the home ground for rallying, and to being like, hey, yeah, this is the schedule for next year. Hyundai's committing to 2026. There's a lot of good things there, and so we'll get Thierry Neuville for one more year for sure, because he said as long as Hyundai's around, he'll be around. And that means Oit has a good home, I believe. I don't think Oit will go anywhere at the moment. Adrian, I don't think will go anywhere at the moment. It will be interesting to see where Oliver Solberg goes, because that dude, it almost has to be guaranteed, right, at this point, that he's going to Rally 1. But I want to focus on like how huge for a second that it is that Seb Ogier decided to make this decision to come up to the points championship, because his results have been fantastic. He won Monte Carlo, took Sweden and Kenya off, came back, did really good in the Canaries, then did the next couple and won. Let's see, he's won. If he hasn't won, he's taken second, except for in Finland. And he's accrued a ton of points because of it. I mean, he was top 3 this entire time. And so, yeah, he's going to be extremely competitive going into Paraguay, which I don't know if any of these guys have raced at Paraguay or rallied at Paraguay, however you want to say it, before, because it's new on the schedule. Because ERC wouldn't have ever gone there, and with it being a new stop, I don't think any of them have. So that'll be interesting. No Rally USA though for 2026, which is a bummer, but they're still working on trying to get something together here in the States. It's going to be a challenge for them. One, logistically, because of getting everything here. Two, America, we don't support ARA like ERC and WRC are supported overseas. So like it comes over here, obviously with it being the premier thing, fans like myself will flock to it. But at the same time, those of us that will flock to it, are we going to be enough, so to speak? And I think it would pull some people from the area and everything like that, and it would be a great eye-opening thing to like put ARA cars out there with the WRC cars, not competing against, like, but do kind of like what they did in Portugal, because they had a ton of classes in Portugal, and they've had a ton of classes at a couple of these other rallies, and I'm drawing a blank on which other ones, but I know in Portugal there was a ton of cars because they had so many classes. I think we do something like that to where it shines a spotlight on the ARA and kind of picks up the our quote-unquote local promotion. But that's just one thought, and from a guy that's not involved in the marketing, promoting, whatever of rallying. At the moment I'm just a fan, but I'd love to maybe dabble in it somehow. Sure, why not? But so we've addressed Ogier, we've addressed the calendar a little bit, and I want to address the calendar a little bit more maybe later on. But man, Kalle has finally found his feet, which is fantastic. So seeing I don't know if newly reformed is the correct word that I would want to use, but I would definitely say Kalle is back, which is good. He doesn't necessarily like, I think, how he's back. I think he would much rather it be in a different way, but he finally just figured out enough to be like fast. And so he'll be competitive the next two events, which is going to make Ogier's championship bid even harder. But honestly, like I said, it's a 5-way match because Elvin Evans isn't going to just lay down. Oyt Tanak could definitely, if he has good rallies, be in there. Same with Thierry Neuville. Oyt, unfortunately, slid off, and then there was an issue with an official or something. I didn't quite get the full story on that, but they docked him time. They added 5 minutes to his time, which put him all the way down to 21st at the start of Saturday. And then they also held a ton of his points, like suspended a bunch of his points. So he only ended up gaining 1 point this weekend. Tough break. Shouldn't have, unfortunately, whatever the issue was with the official, I'm just going to say shouldn't have happened. But from my understanding of it all, it seemed like it was an accident, so I don't know exactly how all that works. But, yeah, I think Oyt may have gotten gypped. I don't know like I said, I don't know the full situation. It just seemed weird. But even at 163 points, he's only 13 out from Elvin Evans, who has like 176 or something like that. So we have a perfect storm going into the last 5 events right now. We have 5 guys that can get there. And the fact that we have 5 guys that can get there in 5 events is going to make things super entertaining for us. So up until now, I had been saying, oh man, Rally 2 is where the competition is, because like Gus Greensmith, Johan Rosell, Miko Marksic, right? I think I said that right. I apologize if I didn't. Trying to think of who all else is competing in the WRC 2 right now. Obviously Oliver and Gus Greensmith, which maybe I said Gus Greensmith twice. But anyways, in the gentleman's agreement with most of them is like super cool, because they want to face each other, head on and have a really, really good outcome, a tough battle. And it's really shown. I've definitely feel like, and it's not just me that feels this way, because I've heard other people say it in different platforms. Like I believe it was David Evans who said, Rally 2 should be the future of WRC, and for good reasons. It's extremely competitive, and makes for good, competition, obviously, because it's extremely competitive. That's redundant, but you get my point. And with it being so competitive, I'm in a loop. I apologize. So moving on. Rally 2 is great. There you go. I'm looking forward to seeing how that championship ends up coming around, because after Finland, I don't think any of those guys were towards the top. Like Solberg ended up having a big off on Friday and coming back, and I didn't see much of him after that. And then didn't really see anything out of Gus Greensmith. Not saying that he didn't have a decent weekend, but I think it was like the weekend was kind of rough on the Rally 2 guys, because it ended up being like 2 Finns at the front, I believe, with Jari-Matti Latvala, who's an absolutely amazing rally car driver who was just seeing if he could still go. And then I can't remember the other Finn's name, but those 2 guys had really good competition up at the front, and so I think they did well. Also, Toyota had their hydrogen rally car out there, which this is all leading me to believe that we are going to get some alternative fuel rules for 2027, because if they have a car that they're working on that can be hydrogen powered, I honestly think that that's them kind of trying to meet Hyundai at the table to where they can both come in and be like, listen, we'll run internal combustion engines some, but we also have these other fuel sources. Hyundai's looking at electric, we're looking at hydrogen, and we can build and expand from there, which would be cool. I'd love to see all three competing like they do in the WRC World Rally. It's the World Rally Raid Championship. I would love to see that same kind of thing where we're getting internal combustion versus hydrogen versus electric, which I wrote a really good article on that. It's on my Substack and it's on my Tumblr now, because we are also on Tumblr now. So really good weekend for rallying. Has me excited. The calendar next year looks really cool. Japan being moved towards the front will be interesting. Travel cost wise for the promotion, I question it a little bit, but I think it'll make for a interesting situation, because I think it's going to go like the same 3 or 4 at the beginning, then Japan, then Greece, or like maybe 5, because I think Spain stays, I think Portugal stays, Croatia's back, which is really, really cool, and Croatia's going to take the spot of Central Europe. So Central Europe, I'm guessing, will drop down to ERC, and that'll be good for ERC, I think, to have some different roads. I love the ERC calendar. I think it's a great calendar. I think it's cool how they flex different events up and down between WRC and ERC. But what I would really like to see is another gravel event added to the ERC. Just one more event, and it'd be a gravel one. Just my opinion. I love that they go to Sweden during the summertime, because then you get to see people come over Collins Crest and stuff, not in the snow, which in the snow is super impressive and I love it, but also seeing it during the summertime, super cool. Guys, I think I pretty well covered everything I wanted to today. It's been a lot of fun getting to chop it up. Definitely a different circumstance than what I would normally like, but we got it done. I think we had a good time. So appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out and riding with me this morning on my way into work. Y'all happy Monday, and talk to you later right here under this tin roof.